If I wanted to book a reading, how I would actually pick someone, what would be the factors I would check. So we would go through all these points and we will clarify them in the order of weight. So let's start with the most obvious ones. So the first would be effectiveness. Are their predictions really landing? And of course, that is not enough for me unless their predictions should be super, like 100% always and things like that. But this is the empirical part. Second is the logic. So do they follow the right source? Because the people who are good at something also will be very fast to recognize where is the best source. Of course, there will be the personality also factor there. So some people will learn from different traditions, from different teachers, but that will also be a big sign for me. Do they have a logic? Do they have method? Are their predictions following some logical pattern? Even more important than the first point, we will talk about that. The third is the ethics. And here, not so much about the personal life. I don't care about that so much, but are you scamming others? Are you lying? Are you using others for your own benefits? That would also be a no-go for me. So that would be the floor, the basic, which must be there. And I want to go back a little bit to the second point of logic and expand that, because now we are talking about the systems. Because without a system, you can be lucky one or twice, but it will not be a repeated thing. Just like in the Atomic Habits, we have this famous sentence, you are not rising to the level of your goals, but you are falling to the level of your systems. So do you have a good system for your predictions? Just like with the color grading, you may have 1-2 images which will be very nicely colored, but they will not fit the whole story. You will not be able to connect them, or you will not be able to build something which will be a long-term beautiful. And if they will come more difficult projects, then you will not be able to sustain that quality of your practice without the system for color grading. So the same thing applies here. And this is all because in astrology, if we read, for example, Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra, very quickly we will be exposed to many layers. We are learning about the lords, but they are also karakas. So relationship is 7th lord, but also Venus, and also Titi, and it's also Darakaraka, and it's also Upapada, it's also in the Navamsha. So imagine if all of these levels are showing different planet, how you will unify them. The preferences can be 7th house in Rasi chart. Preferences could be Titi. Preferences could be Darakaraka. So what is really bringing that preferences? Is there something more deep? How they differ from each other? What is the difference in the depth of all these preferences for relationship coming from those different points? So if you don't know this, you will be very confused. Also, you will confuse others. So these are very basic things, but understanding what they really mean in the context of the system, of the methodology, that will be very important to come up with unified prediction. Now you may say, what about spirituality? Should that be the first thing someone would say? Yes, but here spirituality for me would be being able to understand the categories. And these are often things which are not visible, because we know that if we are reading the chart, or if astrologer is reading your chart, he is making the two types of translation. First, he translates the symbol to the category, and then from category, he is connecting with other categories and is building the picture, which is your prediction. So good astrologers with a lot of practice, astrological practice, but also spiritual practice, will feel really what those planets means. Like, this is especially important or very visible if you are doing consultations, if you are reading the chart, because then you are not beginning with the already what was there, but you have to predict it. So you are starting from the single ingredients, like, for example, moon in the 7th house, what it can mean. Because moon in the 7th house can mean, for example, business related to food, or it can mean popular spouse, because that is the connection between those symbols or meanings. So you need to connect other parts of the chart to be sure what is really happening here. But the general understanding of what the planet is giving, like Saturn in the 9th, Rahu in the 9th, or Mars in the 4th, what is the abstract, very broad effect of that thing? For this, the spiritual practice would be important, because you are like in touch with those ephemeral categories first. Then you are connecting them and building some picture. Also, the spiritual part would be necessary for remedies or very wanted, because if astrologer is giving you a mantra, he's not only giving you that mantra, he's also giving you that Shakti or that power. So if he is a Bhakta of that Devata of that mantra, so if he's giving you a mantra of, let's say, Vishnu, and he's also Vishnu Bhakta, then he's also giving you that power with that mantra. That is what the text says. So therefore the mantra which is received from the guru, from the teacher, or from someone who is practicing, or is especially the Bhakta of that Devata, of that deity, then you are already riding on his practice with that mantra. But going back to that understanding the categories, we could also say this is the philosophical ability to being able to think in broad abstract terms, connecting those abstract things, and then being able to, by intersecting, unifying, integrating these broad categories to provide a final prediction. And what may sound shocking, sometimes the single advice, which has nothing to do with spirituality or mantras, can be more valuable than the mantra. Like someone is going to you, he has or she has some blockage in their life, career life, or relationship. Sometimes the good astrologer can see that and advise, and this could be just some life hack. Change this, start this there, or don't do this, go in this direction. And this can give you a very effective, very strong results. Because with the mantra, yes, you are going very deep. So you have to think about that. Are your problems are coming from some deep-rooted things, like your water is blocked in your life, right? Like you have a titesha blocked, or is there some atmakaraka, your soul or spirit, to be more accurate, is rejecting some parts of life, and therefore your career life suffers. Or maybe there are more shallow blockages. So it all depends. And the mantras, of course, the good thing about them is that they will solve many other things which you are not aware of, that this is a even problem to begin with. So this will influence also other areas of life. And ultimately, if you are worshipping like devatas related to Vishnu or Durga or Shiva, then it can even slowly prepare you for liberation. So it will give you some ground. It will redirect you that this path of freedom, of mukti, will be also easier. So that is the additional benefit. As said, sometimes the advice will be more effective. You can apply it right away and it will bring changes the next day. So it depends on the situation. Now, the other part of this video depends. Will you be regularly visiting the astrologers? Then next factors would also be important. Here we have the philosophy. Do you have aligning philosophy? This could be very helpful. So I would go to astrologer which have a similar philosophy. I would not say politics, because politics is applied philosophy to social context and to day-to-day dealings, but at least the priority of values, right, which are making the person being on this side of philosophical spectrum, or this, that would be quite important for me. And this can have impact on many, many things. Let's say you are doing compatibility, sambandha. So what are the roles do you have in your mind, in your philosophy? Are you believing the gender roles are very different, or we are equal? Because your views, your philosophy will have big impact on ontology and epistemology. Ontology means how the things are. So people who are, for example, more on the right, they would be more believing in literal, and essentialism will be very important. Like you would say, yes, man and woman are totally different because we have sun and the moon and Mars and Venus. They are completely different. While the other people would say, no, this is only a mental construct. These are depending, or these are influencing everyone. Similarly, you could say about the Varnas, right? Are the Varnas really, should we take them literally? You were born a Brahmana? Or a Brahmana is only a consciousness description? Is it psychological consciousness or the gunas, right? The guna, the Brahmana should be a sattva or rajas. So is it related to your consciousness or is it something more literal, right? So you can see that this is impacting also the astrologer, how he will see the world. And this will also impact your prediction. For example, also things like medicine. People on the right libertarian can also have a distrust towards the authoritative or mainstream medicine, and this can also influence their advice about your health, or things related to taxes, or things related to cryptocurrency. Depending on the side of philosophy, this can impact your prediction. So knowing that, or knowing what your question can be, you can also take that into consideration, or at least for me, it would be quite important. Now, personality-wise, this I would not pay a lot of attention. Of course, would be good if you are not irritating each other by your qualities or traits. So if you are in totally different axes, then this may create problem. Especially, as said, this is only important if you have regular meetings. Then this may come up as a clash, as a problem. If one person is more neurodivergent, the other is super normie, then this also can be a problem in understanding each other, or just to have this nice flow of reading. One would be the moon factor. This is quite important and it's hard to imitate. You can learn it to some extent. Of course, the person with a super strong moon, you will never be able to go to that level of empathy and that motherly energy. You can learn a little bit the good information, the parenthesis method, good information, bad information, good information. So it's important, especially if we are going to astrologer with super delicate matter, or I'm in a vulnerable state, or something very bad has happened in my life. I feel, or I need to have the predictions being packed in that very tender and very nice, caring moon package. Only then I would be able to take them. Otherwise, there are some periods in our lives when we are very sensitive to not only to the content of prediction, but also how it is delivered. The first three were most important. The methodological approach, when I see how this is going, if I would see, oh, this astrologer is using that method, he was learned here and there, and this is giving me maybe broad predictions, not so super ultra hyper precise, but it was only one time wonder, right? Someone predicted something great, but it couldn't be repeated because there is no system behind this to support that, right? So if I'm going to astrologer, then definitely I need to have some system where the predictions are coming, and then I can integrate them with other tools like psychotherapy or other types of personality assignment or understanding, or other advisors. Then it is easier to unify all this and make it more useful. We also need to be careful that these systems, whatever comes from the systems, must also land. So the empiricism is, we are going back to the first point of effectiveness. Finally, the systems are only so good if their predictions are correlated to reality, because otherwise someone can build a very nice, there could be a lot of aesthetical value to a system. It's so nice. Here you are averaging out the signs. From Navamsha, you are taking this. Here from the Nakshatra, this Nakshatra is giving you that. Then from this positor, you are taking the person. The person now is connected to time through this. And you are creating those beautiful stories, but they are not landing on reality. They are only, their value is reduced to aesthetics. So that would also be not enough. I need to have those both things. Systems and empiricism, and the other factors which I mentioned. Okay, guys, so that will be all for today. And if you like to see another like this, then please consider watching this one.